Marijuana Doctors proudly presents WeedWatch, your weekly dose of cannabis news. Our top stories this week. Governor Nathan Deal signed an executive order Friday directing state agencies to prepare for legislation that will legalize medical marijuana in an emotional ceremony surrounded by families who would benefit from the drug. The governor plans to sign the legislation, House Bill 1, next month that would make Georgia the 24th state to allow the drug for medical purposes. It authorizes the limited use of cannabis oil to treat disorders that include cancer, sickle cell disease, and epilepsy as long as a physician signs off. Then, DC has its first seed sharing event where more than 2,000 people came together to trade marijuana seeds. With DC having legalized marijuana for people 21 and older, they were not allowed to set up a regulated industry, and thus it is up to the people to cultivate and trade their marijuana. This massive seed sharing event was created in hopes to allow a bountiful fall harvest, which would in turn help the community for medical and recreational purposes. Then, Colorado's Attorney General on Friday asked the U.S. Supreme Court to throw out a lawsuit brought on by her counterparts in Oklahoma and Nebraska over the state's recreational marijuana marketplace. Attorney General Cynthia Coffer argues that the real issue with the lawsuit does not involve Colorado for legalizing and regulating marijuana sales. Rather, the plaintiff states have a problem with the federal government for not enforcing the Controlled Substance Act. Yet recent legislative changes in Congress prohibits the federal government from spending money on enforcing marijuana laws in states that have legalized it, meaning that in all likeliness this case will be dismissed. Finally, the federal government announced Monday that it is prepared to spend tens of millions of dollars on marijuana research through the University of Mississippi, which houses the only federal legal cannabis garden in the United States. The problem is that these studies are funded by organizations that have perpetuated prohibition over the years and focus solely on finding negative impacts of marijuana on users as opposed to studying its potential medical benefits. A step in the right direction would be to grant independent research facilities to research marijuana in order to obtain an unbiased opinion. However, the likeliness of that happening would only be possible if Congress reschedules marijuana to a lower scheduling in the Controlled Substance Act. And that's it for your weekly dose of cannabis news. Tune in next week for more WeedWatch.